Solving real-world applications. We have now introduced a variety of tools for solving polynomial equations. Let's use these tools to solve the bakery problem from the beginning of the section. Example 9, solving polynomial equations. A new bakery offers decorated sheet cakes for children's birthday parties and other special occasions. The bakery wants the volume of a small cake to be 351 cubic inches. The cake is in the shape of a rectangular solid. They want the length of the cake to be 4 inches longer than the width of the cake, and the height of the cake to be 1/3 of the width. What should the dimensions of the cake pan be? So we're going to begin by writing an equation for the volume of the sheet cake. The volume of the rectangular solid is given by V, which is equal to the length times the width times the height. We were given that the length must be 4 inches longer than the width. So if the length is 4 inches longer than the width, so we can express the length of the cake to be L, which is equal to W plus 4. We were given that the height of the cake is 1/3 of the width. So we can express the height of the cake to be 1/3 times W. And then we know that the width is going to be W. So, the volume is equal to the length, which is W plus 4, times the width, which is W, times the height, which is 1/3 W. And now we're going to multiply this all out. So we have 1/3 W squared, and if we distribute it to the 4 and the W, we end up V, which is equal to 1/3 W cubed plus 4/3 W squared. Now what we're going to do is we're going to substitute the given volume into this equation. Well, the volume that was given in this problem was the volume of the cake was 351 cubic inches. So if V is equal to 351, we're going to plug that in for V and then set this equal to 0. So we have 351 is equal to 1/3 times W cubed plus 4/3 W squared. We want to get rid of the denominator to be 3, so we're going to multiply this entire equation by 3. 3 times 351 gives us 1053, which is equal to W cubed plus 4W squared because it eliminates the denominators. And then we're going to subtract 1053 to the right side. And so now that we subtracted 1053 to the right side, we can see that we have the equation W cubed plus 4W squared minus 1053. Now, Descartes' rule of signs tells us that there is one positive real solution, and that's because there's only one sign change going from plus to negative here. So that tells us that we have one positive solution. Now, the reason why we're only dealing with one positive solution is because we're dealing with a length, width, and height. We don't want negative solutions because it wouldn't make sense. So the rational zero theorem tells us that the possible rational zeros are positive minus 1 all the way to positive minus 1053. And we're going to be able to use synthetic division to test these possible zeros. And again, only positive numbers make sense as dimensions for a cake, so we need not test any negative values. So let's begin by testing values that make the most sense as dimensions for a small sheet cake, and then use synthetic division to check x equals 1. So again, the factors of 1053 are the following, and we're dividing that by 1 because we're only dealing with positive values. So we have 1, 3, 9, 13, and so on. So the first thing we're going to check is 1. So we use synthetic division. So we have 1, 4 with the missing term of 0 and negative 1053. When we use synthetic division, we get a remainder of negative 1048, so we know that 1 is not a 0. We plug in using 3 as a possibility. We use synthetic division. We get negative 990 for a remainder, and therefore that is not a 0. We plug in 9, we get a remainder of 0. So synthetic division gives a remainder of 0, so 9 is a solution to the equation. We can use the relationships between the width and the other dimensions to determine the length and the height of the sheet cake. So we know that the width is 9. So if the width is 9, so if we know that W is equal to 9, then we can find the length by plugging in W to be 9, and 9 plus 4 gives us 13. And then to find the height, it's going to be 1/3 times 9, and 1/3 times 9 is 3. So the sheet cake pan would have the dimensions 13 by 9 inches by 3 inches.